And I would like to ask Brian a question of clarification on his position, if I might.
Sure.
You said you don't believe that there's sufficient evidence for the existence of God. I wanted to know, though, would you be defending an atheist position today or an agnostic position?
I've never really understood the distinction here. If I look up in my dictionary, I find an atheist defined as someone who does not believe in the existence of God. I think it would be foolish for anyone to say they could disprove the existence of God. I mean,
well, I don't think that is the traditional definition of an atheist. If you look in an encyclopedia or dictionary, it will say that an atheist is someone who believes that God does not exist.
That's right.
So it's different from an agnostic who doesn't know whether God exists or not. The agnostic just says, I don't know the answer, but the theist says, God does exist. The atheist says, there is no God. Now, I was wondering, are you taking that stronger position that there is no God, or are you simply taking the softer agnostic position?
I really don't see the point of this aspect of debate at all. I still can't see the difference. My position is very simple. I don't believe that God exists. And as I said, I think you would be foolish to say you could prove that God doesn't exist. If you want me to say I strongly don't believe that God exists, I strongly don't believe that God exists.
All right.
Okay.
But my view very simply is that neither of us could prove anything. I mean, this is all in the end a matter of belief.
All right, so that's
and
agnosticism.
you shall have your opportunity there.
That's atheism.
He strongly believes.
That's agnosticism.
So the point is, though, that on your definition of atheism or non-theism, it really embodies a diversity of views, such as agnosticism, what is normally called atheism, or this verificationism. Now, which of those do you hold to within this umbrella of atheism? Are you an atheist who asserts the proposition God does not exist, or do you simply withhold belief in God in the way the agnostic does?
Right. On some days, I'm a greater. No, I'm not going to do you that much of a favour. On some days, I'm a great admirer of Thomas Huxley, who had the great debate with Bishop Wilberforce in Oxford at the Natural History Museum about Darwinism in the mid-19th century, and who was known as Darwin's bulldog. We would now say Darwin's pit bull, and who completely trounced the good bishop. But I can't thank him for inventing the term agnostic. And I can't thank him for some of his social Darwinist positions either, some of which are rather unattractive.
I need an answer to this. My time is fleeting.
Because I think agnosticism is evasive. To me, yes, if you talk about the power of the Holy Spirit and so forth, to me, that is meaningless. It's to me, I'm sorry, I've tried. It's white noise. It's like saying there is only one God and Allah is his messenger. It's gibberish to me. There are many of us, I'm sorry, there are just many of us of whom this is the case. It may be true, it is true.
Okay, Mr. Hitchens, I got to press you here because time is fleeting.
Feel free.
What is your view exactly?
Press away.
Do you affirm God does not exist, or do you simply withhold belief?
I think once I have said that I've never seen any persuasive evidence for the existence of something, and I've made real attempts to study the evidence presented and the arguments presented, that I will go as far as to say, have the nerve to say, that it does not therefore exist, except in the minds of its, except in the Henry Jamesian subjective sense that you say of it being so real to some people in their own minds that it counts as a force in the world. Yes.
Okay, so you do affirm then that God does not exist. Now, what I want to know, and do you have any justification for that?
I think I've come unwired in some horrible way.
You're fine.
Are you sure?
Do you have any arguments leading to the conclusion that God does not exist?
Well, I would rather. I think I'm wondering if I'm boring anybody now. I would rather say. I'd rather state it in reverse and say I find all the arguments in favour to be fallacious or unconvincing. And I'd have to add that though this isn't my reason for not believing in it, that I would be very depressed if it was true. But that's a quite different thing. I don't say of atheism that it's at all morally superior. That would be very risky. I wouldn't admit that it was at all morally inferior either, but we can at least be acquitted on the charge of wishful thinking.
I wonder if that's the case. Would you agree that the absence of evidence is not evidence of absence?
Well, I'm not sure that I would agree.
Okay.
We seem to be going around in circles here. But the reason we're having the debate is, does God exist? Mm-hmm. So obviously, it's a self-evident truth that I believe in debate on these issues.
Right.
I want you to tell people why they shouldn't believe, if you want to use the semantics, why they shouldn't imagine there's a God. Show me how there's no God. Give me proof that God doesn't exist.
Well, we can't prove a negative. I think that's why we're going around in circles. Like, I can't prove the non-existence of
Give me
anything.
an argument.